Have you ever felt like you needed more balance in your life? Well, what if we could just change that word to give you a different mindset? My name is Angie Pischke, and this is my channel, Quiet Confident Woman. I am passionate about building confidence in women, especially introverted women. And I love supporting you in building your life and your business around what brings you joy. If you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe. Okay, balance. When I hear that word, I think of a picture of a scale, like one that if you have too much weight on one side, it makes the other side go too high, and balance is kind of getting those even. It's something that's more rigid and almost like it's uniform. Like balance for someone else is balance for another person as well, because if you have 50 pounds on one side, you need 50 pounds on the other side. It's just how it is. What if we change that word balance to the word harmony? Harmony to me has like more of an ebb and flow. And I feel like one person's life could be in harmony with something totally different than another person has in their life. And we're not in comparison, right? Many women do that, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to compare our life to someone else's life, because that just steals us of all of the joy. So if we think of having our life in harmony, I feel like it could ebb and flow, and there's different seasons. When I think of balance, I think, okay, well, I want to have 40 hours of work, and I want to have 40 hours of family time, and I want to have 40 hours of sleep, and I want to have 40 hours of whatever. And in reality, we aren't wanting to do chores the same amount of time as we're spending with our family. We're not wanting to sleep the same amount of time as we're working. So it's not really a balance, is it? It's more harmony. And you're thinking, that's great, Angie, but how do we get from a life that we don't feel has harmony right now into a life that does have harmony? All right, let me give you a couple of steps. First, what does your week look like? Look back over the past week and see where you're spending your time. Make like an audit almost of all the different things that you've done and how many hours it's taken you to do that. Do you probably thinking of working 8 to 5, you can mark off those hours pretty easily. Or the time that you went to bed and got up the next day, those hours can be pretty easy. But what about all the time in between? Like, what did you do between getting home from work and going to bed? What did you do between after having dinner before you went to bed? Those are the pockets of time that are going to be a little bit more challenging. And after you look back at the week and you add up all of the hours that you have written down what you spent with your time, it should equal 168, as that is how many hours we have in a week. Now, my guess is it probably doesn't. If you're anything like me anyways, it did not add up to 168. So what I typically have to do, because I don't even remember what I had for breakfast the day before, I have to look going forward and actually in the moment. So I have to look at, okay, what am I doing now? Okay, what am I doing now? All right, what am I doing now? And write it down. Whether it's a little notebook that you carry with you, or it's an app on your phone that you just keep track of, just something to scribble down some notes as to what you are doing with your time. Everything from things like work to travel. How much time do you spend in the car every day going to and from work, or bringing the kids to and from different places, to sitting on the couch scrolling on your phone, to watching TV, to taking a shower, all of those things. And I want you to write down the time without judgment, no judgment. So if you are like, I just sat down to rest for 10 minutes and now it's 50 minutes later because I got stuck scrolling on my phone, that's okay. Totally fine. Just write it down so you know where your time is going. That's the first step. Okay, so now the second step is, Where are you spending all of your time? And are you happy with that time that you're spending? So now is when we go back over and we look at it with judgment. Now, we want it to be our judgment, not someone else's judgment. So if you're looking at your time and you're like, okay, I spent an hour every single day watching TV, I shouldn't do that. Well, who says you shouldn't do that? Is that your neighbor? Is that a coworker? Is that just the nation in general that says you shouldn't do that? I want you to look at it as, is it what you want to do? Is it what would bring you harmony in your life? And if the answer is like, yeah, it does bring me a lot of joy to watch TV for an hour, then that's great. So write down the things that bring you joy. Now, if you're thinking, okay, well, work, I like work, I just don't want to do it for 40 hours or 70 hours or 20 hours or whatever it is that you work, make a note of that too. So first step, write down where you're spending all of your time. No judgment. Second step, let's use some judgment, but base it on your judgment. Now, the third step that I want you to do is I want you to look at it with kind of like an open heart and an open mind. What are the things that you had written down that you're like, yeah, it really doesn't bring me joy. I don't feel like I'm living a life of harmony when I'm doing this as much or more than I want to be, and I have this less than I want to have it. So how can you eliminate or decrease the things that you don't want to do and increase the things that you do want to do, or add in things that you do want to do? Maybe there's things that you don't even have in your schedule that you're like, I would really love to be able to do this. Now, everything can have a different season. So if you are looking at this, say in the summer, I live in Wisconsin, and in summer is our only time that we have wonderful weather, according to me. There's some people who like outdoor sports like skiing and things like that. I do not. So in the summer, I much prefer to spend time outside, and in the winter, I'm okay spending it inside. So in the summer, I like to go to waterfront property or take vacations or do different things like that, where I would rather, my harmonious life is to have more of that and less of work. So if that is you, make note of that. But maybe you're in a season where you're like, no, I really want to have more work right now, and I'm okay with a little less family time, or I'm okay with less chores, or I'm okay with less whatever, because you want to have increase in a certain area. So pay attention to that, and then see how you can decrease the things you don't want in your life in that season. So say you are not a fan of cleaning your house. I am not a fan of cleaning my house. However, there are people who absolutely love cleaning their house. So if you are someone that gets a tremendous amount of joy and it just brings you peace and brings you clarity, a lot of people say that they can think when they're cleaning. If that is you, leave that in your week. If it is not you and you're like, I could totally do without that, can you have somebody come in to clean your house to give you more time to do the things that you want to do? If the answer is yes, do that. If the answer is, I would love to do that, but I don't know how to pay for it, okay, is there some way that you could be creative in allowing that to still be a part of your life, but do it in a more fun way? Perhaps you take 45 minutes out of the day once a week to clean your house with your kids. Maybe you have to break it up into 15-minute sections, or a 30-minute section and a 15-minute section, or maybe it only will take you 30 minutes to clean your whole house with the kids. But can you make it a family event where everybody gets a task and it's a race to finish cleaning the house? And to celebrate the house being clean, you do something fun. You have a picnic outside, you go get ice cream, you do some kind of adventure that everybody's been wanting to do. Think of different ways that you can make it fun and still get accomplished, but it's gonna feel like your life is more in harmony than to do the dreaded thing and not want to do it. So think outside of the box. You know, before the pandemic hit, there was grocery shopping where you could have it delivered to your door. But after the pandemic, it's like that's just normal way of life, right? To have groceries delivered to your door or to shop online and then go pick it up really quick on your way home from work. However, 3 years ago, that wasn't the case. So what can you do differently that maybe other people think is a little nuts, that still supports you in doing something the way that brings you joy? All right, let me know the different ways that you are going to adjust your schedule in order to bring more harmony to your life. Is it decreasing hours at work and picking up a side gig so you can have more flexibility but still create an income? Is it hiring somebody to clean your home? Is it something totally out of the box different? Is it adding something in? Maybe you're adding in an hour of self-care every single week and not feeling guilty about it, and that is going to create harmony. I would love to know. Make sure to drop that below. And if you want to reach out on social media, I am on Instagram and Facebook under Quiet Confident Woman. Much hugs and love to you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.